All right, so today is May 15th, Wednesday. We are going to continue working using the MA method to factor with positives and negatives after Daisha answers her phone. Hello, hello. Is that important?
I don't know. I don't know.
You're turning on vibrate for me, aren't you?
It's on Do Not Disturb. I don't get it.
If it's on Do Not Disturb and it's somebody on your favorite call list, it'll still go through. Okay, so the first thing we're going to find is our M. What's my M going to be? Don't just tell me the answer. Tell me how you got it.
It's going to be 12 times 10.
Times 10?
Yeah.
How about negative 10?
Yeah, negative 10.
Which is going to equal?
Negative 120.
Okay, then my A.
7.
My A is going to be positive 7. Because my M is a negative, my A is a positive, when I go to look on my factor sheet for 120, my factors, the smaller factor is going to be a negative. So which of those factors for 120, when you add together, will equal a positive 7, but multiply together to get a negative 120? What we got?
That's going to be 8 and negative 15.
Well, 8 and negative 15. Think about that. If our M is a negative, our A is a positive. So negative, positive, our smaller number has to be a negative. So negative 8. Good. This negative 8 and 15 becomes the area of my top right and bottom left rectangles. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. So negative 8 and 15. Now negative 8 plus 15 equals 7. So we're talking about this middle term here. So what variable needs to go with that negative 8 and 15? X. From here, we've finished filling out the rest of our area model. So what's my first area? 12x to the second. And then my final area is going to be negative 10. I used to have like a whole thing of like those pencil top erasers. Okay, now once I filled in all of my areas, my next step is to find what? The height, which is the greatest common factor of my top row. So I'm going to look here. I'm going to have 12 and 8. I'm going to see what numbers they have in common. So what do they have in common here? They have a 2 and another 2, right? So what's 2 times 2? So my greatest common factor, or my height, that my top row is going to be 4. Then what variable do those two? Good. So if that's my height, I'm going to go ahead and put that in each box. Okay. 4x times what gets me to 12x squared? 3 what? X. So if that's my width on the top, I also bring it down to be my width on the bottom. Okay, 4x times what equals negative 8x? Well, 4 times what equals negative 8? Negative 2, there we go. And we don't need any more x's, so it's just negative 2. Okay. So now I'm ready to fill in my bottom row. What am I missing for my bottom row here? The height. So what times 3x will get me to 15x? Just straight up 5. If I plug in for 5 times negative 2, will that get me negative 10? Yep, so my height is in fact 5. So my first expression here I know is the area because there's no parentheses in it. So I have my area equals my height times width. So what's my height here? Okay, times, so I put parentheses around it. What's my width? Nice. That's the front side. How are we feeling about this? Are we getting more comfortable with it? By like Friday, you'll feel pretty good about it? Or do you already feel pretty good about it? Or are you still like, I don't like these? Don't like them.
Man, it feels like summer. I just want to be in my house sleeping right now. Like, I woke up at like 1 o'clock because it was like hailing.
If it was, I slept through it all.
My God,
That's why I heard it was hell. I slept through it all.
I got a big house, so like, it sounds like really loud. and I was like, oh my god. I felt like it was a tornado coming, like it was over like to my window. And I just felt like, oh, this thing coming. I'm like, I'm about to die.
Okay. Do you guys want me to do this the regular way? Or do you want me to show you a shortcut?
Shortcut.
Man, shortcut gonna be complicated.
It's not.
Regular way.
I'm going to show you both. So I'm going to show you the shortcut first. Okay? This is what we call a fast factor problem. I wish I would have gotten to the point where we could have done fast factors because I think you guys would have liked it. But fast factor, you can do when there's not a number with the first term. You can only do it if there's no number with my first term. So do I have a number for this first term here? No. So we're still going to find our m. So basically our m is 1 times 45, which is what?
Wait, what?
45.
45.
You said 1 times 45.
What's our a?
14.
Negative 14. Okay, so we're still finding our m and our a. So because our m is a positive, our a is a negative, so m is a positive, our a is a negative, that means both of our factors are going to be negative. So what two numbers can you add together to get negative 14 under the factor 45? Got it. So what are those two numbers can you add together to get negative 14? So both of you, 5 and 9. So if they're both negatives, we're going to have negative 5, negative 9. Now, because there was no number with my first term here, I can go ahead and factor it out. What's my variable I'm talking about, or I'm using? Y. What's my first MA? So y minus 5 times, what's my second number that I found? So then y minus 9. That's your answer. You can only do that. You can only do that when there's no number for your first term. So let's say that. So now I'm going to do the rest of the problem in green so you can see it. So like let's say we're doing it the long way. So I would plug in my numbers, negative 5, negative 9. I put my variable with. I fill in the rest of my areas. You could, like I said, but you can only do it.
When there's two negatives?
Mm-hmm. No, not when there's two negatives.
There's a variable in front.
When there's just the variable in front.
Like the y? Okay.
So if you notice, now, because I have my numbers flipped, it's not a big deal at all. So if you notice, I'm going to get the same thing here. Y minus 9 times y minus 5. Now, this answer is the same thing as this. It doesn't matter if these groups are reversed, as long as you have the same numbers in the groups. So that's the shortcut. You guys like the shortcut? But when can you do it?
Whenever you want.
No. Only when there's no number with the first variable. Only when there's no number for the first term. Okay?
Hey, bro, I should be